Hi, I'm Erin, and this is Our Wyoming Life.
Today, Erin will be transplanting the tomato seedlings from the germination trays into their own individual pots. Proper tomato transplanting will ensure better fruit production this summer. Tomatoes are one of the most requested items at farmers market, and the earlier we have them, the better.
Today I'm ready to transplant the tomato seedlings. They were planted 3 weeks ago and are definitely ready for their own pots. In all actuality, I should have transplanted about a week ago, but time got away from me, so I'm going to do it today. Today we are going to be working with a big beef variety of tomato. I have all my supplies gathered and ready. Pots, black trays, dirt, and a pencil and water are what I need today. I have pre-moistened the soil for easier transplanting. I'm still using a seed starting soil mix. The pots that I'm going to be transplanting into are 2 1/4 inch square pots, and they are about 3 inches deep. With tomatoes, you always want to use deep pots when transplanting to help establish a vigorous root system. First, I'm going to go ahead and put about a 1/2 inch of soil in the bottom of the pot. Then I will start the process of separating the seedlings from the germinating tray. I'm going to use a pencil to lift the dirt and separate the seedling. Since these are a little bigger than I would like them when transplanting, there are more roots than I would typically have to deal with. So I'm just going to go pretty slow and be gentle about getting the seedlings separated. Tomatoes are actually pretty tough plants, so even if I break a few roots, they're going to be just fine. So here is a seedling free from the tray. You can see the roots are still intact and it has formed one set of true leaves and everything looks healthy. This seedling will work great for transplanting. Now we're going to bury the seedling up to its neck in dirt. The really cool thing about tomatoes is that they are great at growing roots. If I bury the stem, it will grow roots along the entire length. This will be absolutely essential for healthy production in the heat of summer. The more roots, the more nutrient and water absorption the plant will be capable of. So some of these seedlings are actually so big that I will have to bend them into the pot. I'm just going to be gentle with them and make sure not to snap them. If you hear or feel a snap when transplanting, it's best to abandon the seedling and get another one. The technique that I use is to hold the seedling in between 2 fingers and then with the other hand, gently add the dirt in. I will try to center the seedling, but if it's big enough that I have to bend it, the seedling usually ends up being pushed against one side of the pot. It's perfectly okay. And then I'm just going to keep adding dirt until I get to the leaves. Then I'm going to place the black pot into the tray. This tray is going to hold 36 pots. I want to have 8 trays of transplanted tomatoes once I'm all done. This will give me 288 tomatoes, and I need about 204 plants for the tunnel. It's always wise to plant extra. You can always go ahead and give them away to your friends and family once you're all done with your planting. I'm going to take the tray back downstairs and put it under the lights. Even though the soil is damp already, I will add a little bit of water to the bottom of the tray so the tomatoes can have a drink. They should only need watered every 3 to 4 days at this point, but I will continue to check on them often to make sure they don't dry out. I will water when the dirt starts to dry out, but before they wilt. If you have a lot of air circulation, they will dry out sooner, or if the temperature is above 70 degrees. Down in my basement, it stays a pretty consistent 55 to 60 degrees, which is actually ideal for most seedlings. Okay, so it took me 2 days, but here are all 8 trays of transplanted tomatoes. This will be the only time I transplant the tomatoes while they're indoors. The next time they are disturbed is when I will place them in the ground in the tunnel. Here in about a week, I will go ahead and apply our first batch of fertilizer, and I'm going to walk you through that process. For now, we're just going to let them adjust to being transplanted and work on getting bigger. As it's needed, I will move the lights up so that no leaves are directly touching the lights. Tomatoes are definitely my favorite homegrown crop. The flavor of vine-ripened tomato just doesn't compare to a grocery store tomato. It's so much more intense and rich the flavor is. When I was a kid, I remember watching the tomato plants for that first one to turn red, and even now, that first red tomato of the season is such a delight. It's definitely something worth fighting for. Luckily for me, Mike isn't a big fan of a raw tomato, so I don't have much competition. I, on the other hand, just can't get enough of them. I love a big plate of them, just all sliced up with salt and fresh cracked pepper on them, or a BLT, or a tomato sandwich. Or I love making fresh salsa in the summer with lots of garden onion and cilantro. I'll just take them any way that I can get them. Tomatoes are my favorite garden vegetable. So, you know what? I bet I have some tomatoes left over from last year, some pickled tomatoes. I'm gonna go have a tomato and dream of warmer days and tomatoes. So, thank you for joining me in Our Wyoming Life.